You see, the why Israel is too powerful. If you study, analyze, and research, the only one reason they control the financial sector in the whole world. So that's BIBM, and that's the research need to be initiated in focusing. If you like to become the best in the whole world, if you like to give them the lesson, we must need to produce and must to be the best of the financial all compliance. So that is why I should say that as a Bangladeshi, if you really like to fight and if you like to protest, we should at least focus financial sector first, because banking and financial sector still now in Bangladesh economy is playing a key role. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much for our three discussions, and definitely BIBM is this annual banking conference is taking a very good initiative, and we know that this session we also got the 6 papers, and all of the 6 papers titles I am quite sure this is very effective, because considering the technological development, considering the fraudulence and other thing, I'm sure that all of the researchers tried their best to study and make the questionnaire in respect of the practical field. But at the same time, I think that as a last question, I will humbly request, and again I am echoing with Mahbub Rahman, that please try to liaison with the industry, because this is one of the key factor of our researcher. A lot of cases, that you also put a lot of labor, a lot of time you also invested for producing this paper. But if this paper is not coming to the implementing stage, I think it is coming only your profile or CV that I produce this paper in the annual banking conference of the BIBM. But you need to say that I developed the patents, or I contacted with the industry and also the key stakeholder and implemented this project as a pilot project. So by this way, I'm quite sure that you can develop your career, you can focusing your financial benefit, and at the same time, you can be a star of the society. You can contribute to the society directly. So that will be my humble request as I'm from the industry, and at the same time, that a lot of you may aware that I am also involved in the academic activity. So, as Mr. Mahbub Rahman is also mentioned that nowadays it is very necessary for the statistics. Luckily, I am a student from statistics. I did my honors and masters, both the statistics. And luckily, I got the computer science also in 1985, because in that time there was no computer science. So luckily, the statistics department of our university first introduced the computer. And luckily, my subsidy was economics. So very in line with the today's discussion. So anyway, so first of all, I'll humbly request you, that now there is a lot of protest is going on in favor of Palestine. So my suggestion is that, you see, the why Israel is too powerful. If you study, analyze, and research, the only one reason they control the financial sector in the whole world. So that's BIBM, and that's the research need to be initiated in focusing. If you like to become the best in the whole world, if you like to give them the lesson, we must need to produce and must to be the best of the financial all compliances. I don't like to go through the lot of the point because it is not the time. But you know that if you go to the credit rating, if you go to the compliances, if you go to the all of the stakeholder involvement, how the finance is flowing and how the startup ecosystem is also developing, how the entrepreneurial mindset is also developing, how the industry and job placement is also going to expand, skill metrics, whatever you are going, everything is related to finance. So that is why I should say that as a Bangladeshi, if you really like to fight and if you like to protest, we should at least focus financial sector first, because banking and financial sector still now in Bangladesh economy is playing a key role. And at the fund flow money, if you see how the financial sector through the mobile communication is playing a key role nowadays. A grassroots people, a grassroots level user, I think those who are also non-resident Bangladeshi, they like to send their money. That they send their money to their parents or their beloved one with a few seconds in just putting in mobile apps. So these sorts of revolutionary development can be possible to develop in the grassroots level if your research and activities is really in line with the industry and also the stakeholder. So that's my one point. And the second point, I think, as again I should say the Mahbub Rahman, he also mentioned that suggestion need to be properly implementable stage. you know that one of the key factor which must have to the indication that usefulness, trust, and service quality, and also how much cost for a pilot project to implement in any segment. You cannot cover up to the whole sector of the AI, but at least in one sector, okay, credit card division, okay, in the transaction, okay, in the check or credit trading, in whatever happened, there is a plenty, thousand area. So be precise that in one area that you will implement it. So how much cost will be involved for implementing this project? And what should be the return of investment? What should be the impact? How can enhance the societal change if it is going to the one by one in other sector? You know, the day by day, very interesting thing, the fraudulence happen in such a way. One fraud is going on. I think, you know, the next day, the fraud is changed, mental fraud style is changing. So that is also need to be important. So that is why you can also find out using the artificial intelligence, how the other factors can come to the frequently. You know, the day by day, there is a lot of this technique is they are utilizing, because you know that peoples need to get the proper training. Nowadays, I'm sure that all of the multinational banks frequently they are sending their clients that please don't do this, please don't do this. They are also sending the video guideline. They are also sending the some of the emails, flow chart that don't do it. If you get this sorts of message, don't click this one. So these sorts of alertness is not coming from the local bank. If I'm not wrong, I saw the practice of all of the multinational bank is also doing. So that's why I think the fraud rare and making training the proper way, and data limitation also, the structured data set reduce effectiveness. You know, the exactly data, I saw that the data you are maintaining majority of the Dhaka city. So data you need to go to the grassroots level also, because all of the data questionnaire I found the majority you are covering to the educated people and also in the capital city. So that's also need to be diversified. And again, actually, as I already mentioned, the fraud pattern change over time. The static model become outdated, because whatever you already created and you understand, maybe you can feel proud, but next day the fraud people is taking the new technique, because they have the, you already know that in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also mentioned that the Iblis is very powerful, and they always working with the right talented people. They are not working with the polite people. So that is why you need to the black box. You know, the all of the fraudulence whenever happen, you have to be created the proper black box model, that which should be the proper transparency. As you know that international practice, that if you just created any high powered technological, the solution, you must have to the black box. As you know, the plane and other factors, it is mandatory. So that is why nowadays I think black box models can also need to be implemented through these sorts of identification of the fraud. And of course, the real-time detection is detecting fraud instantly remains a technical hurdle, because technical equipment is also very limitation. Banking sector, all of other sectors, always they are not habituated to use the technical, tools. So that also I think there's a researcher please need to identify that, so the real-time, scalable, and explainable model they should implement, because a lot of these tools is already developing everywhere. And again, this research change in financial, I saw that almost a lot of papers you already identified. If I'm not wrong, 71 publications you already going through for identifying this data. That's a very good job. And you also identified the top authors is Zhu Weiyan, is a Chinese person. You also mentioned it. So this is a very good, I think there's a good research, but at the same time, my request will be to implement it, because you also try to find out this how the fintech industry can integrate it, the AI, and also the stakeholder governance. The governance and the fraudulence other than the policymaker you also identify. But at the same time, I hope that whatever point I already mentioned to the other factors, they please try to go make a one demo model, one practical one model you not try to implement it. And this is the very, very good project, smart cooling system and power management. I think Mr. Rakibul Haq has also mentioned. So I will just, I pointed out some few points. I think maximum I found that already Rakibul sir is already covered up. So I don't like to repeat it. I think these few points, my recommendation will be, that always the policy makers need to be emphasize that green policies for getting some benefit and need to train the staff. And also, supplier level, because who is supplying level? Because worldwide there is a lot of good supplier is going on. You need to identify that in China or USA or this developing country, this technology they are adapting. So let's bring this technology and do a one branch or one head office in one of the corner, either data center, either every sector. because you also mentioned that huge revenue can be just reducing, because the power sector, how much revenue we are already investing in Bangladesh. In Bangladesh economical last 17 years, the government is taking one advantage for developing this power sector. The how billion dollar is already misutilizing. So that is why I think this green effective green cooling system need to be very effective nowadays. As our present government is also every day they are telling the renewable energy, and even that if you say the investment summit is going on, this investment summit is also repeatedly mentioning the renewable energy, because there is no other way. Luckily, Bangladesh is a very beautiful country. We are getting the sunlight, and the sunlight power is very powerful. That at the hot summer time, I think how much it is effective you already heard. So I don't like to going through the in depth, but specifically, I think Dr. Rakib Haq is already mentioned, but I like to mention that specifically because the industry people always like to get the incentive. So the tax incentive need to be clearly identified. If anyone is effectively utilize these green effective tools or the cooling system in any financial sector, any organization, these sorts of tax incentive, they will get it. Because without giving the benefit, I think I'm so sorry, I'm also a businessman. Businessmen don't like to move it. They always like to get the benefit, either directly, either indirectly. So that tax incentive need to be specifically mentioned, which I'm not finding clearly in the research paper. Set energy benchmark. I think the POE system already you are aware about it. So support capacity also building need to be clearly mentioned. And at the same time, the policy makers, few of the policies already there. And the ADB bank and other bank is also the international bank, World Bank, they have some just policy, and they also have some guideline. So these sorts of few of the guideline you can implement it and do the proper workshop. I think this using the BIBM, maybe you can invite only the decision maker, only invite the industry people, those who are working. By this way, I think very easily, I think Bangladesh can getting huge financial benefit. So that is all of my point. I am sure that if you have anything else, please let me know. I will be happy to discuss with one-to-one after this meeting. I am sure that we will be here in a few minutes. But again, my humble request, because please try to implement one pilot project. And that pilot project you can also, because luckily you are coming to BIBM. So all of the people, that Deputy Governor of Bangladesh Bank, and even that these people are also well directly connected with the financial sector. A lot of the banks, MD, chairman is here. So if you can bring the project, if you ask to some of the specific bank, I need 10 lakh taka, I need 10 million taka or 20 million taka, and I can give the guarantee that with the industry and academia, I will make confident and implement this system and prove it that the bank will be getting the benefit. So by this way, I'm sure that you can implement it, but be confident and be the proper procedure due to cause of, as Mahmoud Rahman also very professionally, he also mentioned, due to cause of the artificial intelligence development. I think all data, all resources, you will get it. So of course, you will not depend blindly on the AI, because sometimes AI giving you the wrong direction if you are not using the proper data and analyzing and proper brainstorming, but you need to give the proper direction to the AI. So that is why I think using the AI, you can very quickly, you can develop, you can ask to the AI, the brainstorm and analyze the global practices of these topics, and give me the idea how I can make one pilot system to the XYZ bank, this sector, what will be the budget, what will be the planning, and what checklist I need to prepare, and how I can approach to the bank. Everything you will get in one few minutes. So this opportunity you need to utilize nowadays. Otherwise, as Mahmoud Rahman has mentioned, that without statistics, it is very tough for researcher. But I personally believe that without proper using of artificial intelligence and the technology, it will be simply impossible nowadays to stand and to prove your efficiency. Thank you very much, and wish you all of you good luck.